because the authenticity of the mission that you've got and the way you work and your whole reputation affords them to lean in and take a chance, perhaps. Two main lessons, and I guess those lessons are from 30 years of experience working in business. So yes, as an entrepreneur and building a business, but also as an employee and as an investor and as a director. So every pretty much aspect of business, these two things are my lessons of life, if you like. The first one is always put people at the center of everything. People are a business. A business without the people is a share certificate, and a computer or mobile phone and a way to connect with people and to sell in your vision, and they will buy your vision, yes, on your business plan, but it's not that, it's their belief in you being able to deliver a business plan. So whether you're looking at investors, they're looking at the people they're trying to invest in as much as the business plan. If you're looking at employees, you understanding how you will get the most out of your team, how you will motivate them and help them deliver on a goal is all about people. And then as you're trying to convince a consumer, in my case, somebody who is buying something for their most precious thing in life, it's all about people, it's all about trust. So putting people at the heart of business, I think psychology kind of trumps financial strategy, if you like, or economics. I think culture trumps business plans, financial strategy again. You can have the best business plan in the world with the best investment in the bank, and if you haven't got the skills or you haven't got the persuasion tactics or skills to help people change their behavior and invest in you, buy from you or work from you, then you go nowhere. So throughout my career, and still doing, I think it's life, not just business, you invest in relationships, you prove authenticity, you get trust, and things happen from there. Obviously, then you need a business plan that works, and you need the financial skills and the legal skills and the marketing and sales and all the rest of the skills that you need. But right at the heart of any successful business is an ability to have people engage with you because they want to engage. You've worked out what's in it for them and why they're motivated to engage, whoever they are. But it's all about people. Business doesn't really exist, does it? It's a piece of paper. It's something at company's house as a register. The business is the people within it and the innovation that they make, the arguments and the sort of pitches that they make, and the relationships that they build. So that's number one. Number two then is to always be curious. Ask the question why all the time. Don't how am I going to do it or what am I going to make, but why am I here in the first place? Why am I talking to you today? I've thought through what's my motivation from doing this. Why is somebody listening to this today? And I'm thinking about their motivation. But I thought about that all the time, and you have to remain curious all the time, especially if you're an entrepreneur and a growing and scaling business, because you have to be one step ahead of everybody else all the time and second guess what other people might do to respond. But you want to control your destiny, you want to know where you're going, why you're going there, and therefore what speaks to why is a mission and a purpose for being. And so unless you understand your purpose of why you're there, why you're getting up in the morning and it's a really bad day, or you had a day yesterday and that's been bad, and it might be a legal issue or a financial issue, a marketing issue, a reputation issue, a people issue, whatever it is, that you're motivated to get up the next day and put it right and put the next foot forward and move forward towards the thing that is your goal, is your mission, because you've got this purpose that is driving you to do it. So often when I speak to entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs that are thinking about setting up a business, and my advice is so often, don't just do it because you've seen it happen in another market, another country, and you just think there's money to be made in that. There may be, there may not be. But if there is, you won't make as much money, or you won't create the impact as much as they have, if you don't have your why as to why you should be the people that do that and why it's going to fulfill you as a person. and as a business. And it keeps you focused, it keeps you, can help you motivate others. But I'm a massive believer in mission-led business and mission-led life, finding your purpose, and then doing everything to be laser focused to deliver on that focus. So a little example within Ella's Kitchen, we worked out what our mission was and had a mission statement around that. And it wasn't around making baby food. It was helping children have a better relationship with food so that they could have healthy relationships with food throughout their life. And so, that helped us decide to make or publish 4 best-selling cookbooks, scratch cooking cookbooks, which some people said, well, why are you doing that? Because you're trying to sell pre-made food. Why encouraging people to make their own food? Because they have a better relationship with food, those young children. If they're making a game out of making the shopping list, if they're going to the supermarket and playing a game there, if they're involved in stirring and making the food, they will be more likely to eat it, and the recipes would be healthy. So that's a good thing, and it fulfills our mission. So that's something we did. Something we didn't do was the countless points of contact we had with consumers when they said, I use this with my baby, but I'm a cyclist and it's great. So you guys should get into the, cyclist or the athletes market because it's high energy, easy carry, convenient. And I was thinking, well, maybe, but our whole focus is around better relationships with food for children. Someone else can do that. We've got a lot more work we can do in growing our business and creating the impact that we want in the kids space rather than the athlete space or many other markets that people came to us.
Brilliant, thank you.
And then if I get specifically into reflecting on why Ella's Kitchen specifically was successful, there's always 5 things that I point to, and I think that's completely relevant, probably for any business, but certainly startup, scale-up, entrepreneurial-led businesses. And they are to have an innovative mindset. You've got to kind of constantly work out what's next and how you're different and how you can stay one step ahead and how your innovation can be done, yes, financially right, so that you make a gross margin, but also connect with people and the consumer, and they'll find a need that's sufficient enough from your innovation that they're prepared to change their behavior and try it and adopt it and then be evangelical about it to tell their friends, which is the best form of marketing. So just innovative mindset, yes, for products and services, but also the way that you reward your staff, or you have whatever policy, and you just build the culture of your business. So that's number 1. Number 2 is really values led. Always reminds you who you are, why you're doing it, and it gets back to that question why. My 3rd thing is really around having an awesome team and really investing in the team and in the just making sure that they bring their whole selves and always think about work not because they have to, but because they want to. And you make sure that you've got the right mindset and the right skill set of people, and you reward people who do well, and you make it plain and replace the people that shouldn't have been in your company. It's not good for them or you in the first place. And then the 4th thing is always listening to customers, everything about their lifestyle and their life. In our case, parents and young children, and understanding how their lives, what it's like from getting up to going to bed, and how they interact with their children, not so that we can see the whole picture of when they feed, why they feed, what they feed, and who they talk to about what they feed. So really understanding everything that's important about your customer. And then the final thing I always speak around, which I think is absolutely vital, which kind of goes back to one of my points earlier, is always try to find something that deepens your authenticity and the trust that others have in you, that your word is your bond, or that they'll try your product, or they will invest in you or work for you, or come in early, leave late, whatever it is, that because the authenticity of the mission that you've got and the way you work and your whole reputation affords them to lean in and take a chance, perhaps. I haven't spoken around actually is around my first book about Little Wins, which is a personal development book really, It's a bestseller. It has been a bestseller. It's been out since 2017 now. And I've done lots and lots of talks about it. But that book really it's about the huge power of thinking like a toddler in our adult life. My whole life has been working with children. They are my inspiration, my purpose in life, to help them live better lives. And there is so much we can learn from small children, from toddlers, because I believe that you and I and everyone listening to this was their best human being when we were all about 5 years old, and we had the potential to think imaginatively, think free think, have self-confidence to ask stupid questions. There's a whole load of things that we had then, and if we could take 2% of that way we looked at the world when we were 5, now when we're dealing with much more complicated problems, obviously, but retain that inquisitiveness, that curiosity, that self-confidence, imagination, free thinking, all of those things, we could look at our problems in a different way and find solutions to them, whether they're at the corporate level in our business, or whether they're our personal level in the relationships and the situations that we're in. And so my book identifies 9 skills that we had and just discovered at the age of 4 or 5 as a toddler, that we had just discovered, whether that be diving straight into things and not prevaricating, never giving up, and ability to get noticed, and being creative and having confidence and having fun, involving others. A whole load. There's 9 skills that we had, and my talks help people grow down to remember and be 5 years old again, and then to go through each of those, or as many as relevant to the audience, of those 9 areas, and just think how it was possible then, and how you can adapt those skills that we learned but we don't use as much now as an adult in our daily challenges. And maybe if we did, we'll find different ways of doing things, looking at things in a perspective of the world. And then I get them to grow back up again if they want to, and they can think strategically, if it's at work, about the small thing, little wins, little things they can do differently by taking the little wins from the little people that they once were. So it's not about learning new skills, it's about rekindling old skills that we all had. And I've talked to students, entrepreneurs, people who have never worked and are thinking about working, try and give people confidence when they're retiring, going into a new world and what they can think there, and people in big businesses wondering how they can fulfill themselves more, or big business leaders thinking, how can we approach the big challenges that we've got in a different way. So it's done tremendously well, and it's a pretty unique angle, I think, that I've come from, because the book is peppered with all the real life experiences, a lot from growing Ella's Kitchen and the things of how we learned from our heroes, our core consumers, those toddlers then, but really to take it forward to, the one thing every adult has got in common is that they once were a child. For some of us, for most of us, God willing, more and more of us, there are happy childhoods and there's things we can reflect back on. But for all of us, I'm sure we recognise that toddlers have this imagination that is unlimited, and for them, nothing is impossible because they don't know any different. I would say, when you and I were 4 and if we had the capacity to project forward and think, bloody hell, life's brilliant. I'm only 4 and I've learned all these things, from not being able to smile, to talk, to walk, to think independently, to now question the world. What the next 80 years is going to bring? This is just the first years. And what the truth is a lot of that is, we talk conformity. Culture knocks some of the uniqueness of us as individuals out of ourselves, and we don't think like we once did, and we conform to the way things are, to the status quo, to binary possibilities. And if more of us just got 1% of our day thought when we were had the potential to think when we were 4 or 5, we could change many of the problems that we've got today.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Paul, for all the answers and for your time. Is there anything you wanted to add that you didn't get an opportunity to talk about, or anything you wanted to redo or change?
No, I don't think so. There's obviously little examples and things that I won't go into. One of the things in my book that I took a different way of looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs as a personal development, but also as a as a culture, a corporate development sort of thing. And I've got this model of the base of the pyramid. So going from, you've got to be able to live, to love, to learn, and to leave a legacy. And you can't leave a legacy until the other three things are right. And you can't learn until the other two things are right. And you can't love what you do or who you're with until you can live. And to live, whether that's a company, you need to have a sustainable business plan. Whether it's as an individual, you need an income stream and a support network to help you live. And then you can love what you do, and you can pick and choose your jobs, or you pick and choose your purpose to love that you do, and lifelong learning. And how can we all leave a legacy that there was a point of us on this earth to fulfill ourselves, but to leave our handprint after we've gone. So I do talks around that as well. So hopefully you can see that there's quite a variety of themes that ultimately come down to people and a curiosity to ask why all the time and challenge things. But the privilege of being able to build one of Britain's iconic food brands or brands in the last 20 years, and then go on to use the experiences that I've had in other areas of life, has a unique angle to it.